See, now that I got my emotional support, Remy, it's like having an emotional support, animal of some description, except it's a person and not a animal. Well, the jury's still out on that one. She could still be a demon or an angel or whatever the fuck there is now, but now that we have her, I'm sure nothing horrible will ever happen to us ever again or in the game in general. And never mind, we're not stable. I still couldn't say that I was stable even now, even with Remy with me. On the way back, I chose to take a different route than usual, walking cautiously along the way. I couldn't stop trembling. Okay, we still got the shakes. It's fine. God, it's just it's both gotten better and worse. Every corner with even an inch of shadow seemed dangerous. True. Every time I got to any kind of intersection, I was tormented by delusions of Yua or Shogun waiting for me at the end of it, making me freeze in place. That's okay. Remy's there. Whenever that happened, Remy would take over. She would look over toward the end of the intersecting road, and when the coast was clear, she'd nod to me. Oh, she's such a good...
大丈夫。誰もいないよ。
She's a good one. Can we keep her forever? Relieved, I follow after her. Everything she'd done without a hint of irritation.
ねえ、聞いていいかな。
No
一
question.
体何があったの？
I was slightly hesitant to tell her. If I said something here, Remy would become a target for Shogun. I would get her involved.
話したくないなら無理に話さなくても。
I mean, wouldn't she already be involved anyway with everything that's happening?
いや、
Oh.
話すよ。
My mouth had already started moving. I definitely didn't feel comfortable with the prospect of getting her involved, but if I didn't explain to her what was happening, she wouldn't be able to understand the gravity of the situation. For the sake of my well-being, I had to turn a blind eye to the possibility that it might put her in danger. She'd been the one who said she'd stay by my side, so I was sure she'd be fine with it. So I told her literally everything. I told her that Shogun was the actual NewGen culprit. Dude, if you listen to him, it's just full fucking schizo. Like Jesus. That Yua was one of his underlings. Oh, Jesus. That they were both stalking me. What had happened in front of the 107 the other day. That was a disaster. I laid it all bare, albeit not without a fair share of stuttering. Well, we can barely talk as is, so I understand. Yup. When I told her about the Shogun, or the time Shogun appeared before in a wheelchair, Remy's lips pursed, and she began to ponder. I had always wanted to ask her about it back then. Seemed like now was a good time as any.
いたかな？車椅子のおじいさんなんて。
You would immediately have remembered. She certainly didn't sound like she had.
思い出して。大切なことだ。
Dude, that man, no, that was for us.
でも、
Remy frowned, almost like she was hesitant to say what was on her mind.
そもそもあの時渋谷の駅前が無人だったなんてことなかったよ。
No.
いつもと同じだった。
So that was what Remy had seen back then. I was hoping that she and I would agree on what we'd seen, but I guess not. Well, see, we're the crazy one, obviously. Remy or me, which one of us had seen what the area was actually supposed to look like? I don't know anymore. Had I been wrong about what I'd seen after all? Had that empty Shibuya been nothing more than a delusion of mine? Honestly, that'd been a very oddly specific delusion. But if it was, then there was a small discrepancy. An old man had appeared in that empty Shibuya. Shogun. What was the explanation for that? If the Shibuya being empty part was a delusion, then Shogun could be a delusion as well.
駅前って人が多いでしょ？だから車椅子の人がいても なかなか気がつかないだろうし。
I don't know, he was very...
要するに見てないってこと。
He's very weird looking, he was.
ごめんね、役に立てなくて。
Oh, you're helping in every other way, it's fine. At the very least, I knew Shogun himself wasn't a delusion. At first, I thought he was just a delusion, but ever since the group dive video had come out, my perception of him had swapped to the exact opposite. Shogun was real. He existed in reality. But that empty Shibuya, meanwhile, could have just been a delusion. And in reality, the front of the station had been overflowing with people just like it always was. I was the only one who'd observed something different. A different set of scenery than everybody else, because I can see. But how could that be possible?
ねえ、それよりお願いがあるんだけど、いい？
Oh, not a favor. We don't do well with anything. Remy joined her hands together like a prayer-like gesture.
CD を買いに行きたいんだ。せっかくここまで来てからちょっと寄っていきたいんだけど。
Ooh, that's a pretty big favor, huh?
いいかな？
I really wanted to get back to my base as soon as possible. The reason I'd taken such a long detour was because I was afraid of the possibility that you or Shogun might have already been ready to ambush me. It wasn't so I could go on some shopping spree. It was just a CD. Calm down. Jesus. But if I were to refuse her after all that, she might end up going back on her promise to stay by my side. If I were to fuck up badly enough, she could get angry and leave by herself. What the hell should I do? This sucked. Dude, it's not that hard. I needed Remy to stay with me. But if I don't do this, Remy won't stay with me. And I can't get a Remy without a car. And I can't get a car without a job. And I can't get a job without a CD. I wasn't sure I could make it to my base alone. Oh my god. In the end, I wasn't able to refuse, yup. So I did what I had to in order to survive, and stuck as close as possible to her. I guess it was irresponsible to think that Yua wouldn't attack me in a public place like that. She just flies at you like a spider monkey. But I was more afraid that they might have been hiding among the crowd. Every time I would almost bump into someone, I would scream inside my head.
パトカーだ。
Oh god, no. Remy's words frightened me. I quickly retreated behind her. They're after me. What? Protect Shibuya from terrorists. Oust the criminal. For a safer city. Not my Shibuya. Oh god. Remy was right. There were 2 police cars parked on the road. And right next to them were 3 officers in uniform. Oh, Jesus. The police had also been pursuing me. Obviously, the basis behind it was a completely false accusation, but the incompetent police didn't know that. Those cops might have been searching for me too. God, you guys are so loud with your protests. Or so I thought, but that apparently wasn't the case. The cops' gaze were fixated on the crowd of people marching down the street like they owned it. Hey, damn right they own it now. Were they protesters or something? They were carrying these giant signs and flags, and they were wearing the typical sashes and headbands you'd see among those kinds of people. There was even a child marching along with his parents, holding the hands with both of them. He looked like he had no idea where he was, and he was wearing a t-shirt with the words, "Whose eyes are those eyes?" written on the permanent mark. I bit my lip. Why did they bring the kid with him? With them?
何のデモだろうね。
Like, god damn it. The people marching were of all ages and genders. Their march was mostly silent and solemn, but at times they all echoed their chants. Drive the devil out of Shibuya. Expel the demons from this place.
悪魔？
Oh, I got a lot of demons, and it's not just you, Remy. On the signs were a number of different things, such as drive the devil out of town or protect Shibuya from terrorists. Must have been some kind of protest against the NewGen incidents. There was no point in protesting against that. If they had time to do that, then they could they please just go hunt down Shogun and kill him? Jesus Christ. Then I wouldn't need to worry about him anymore.
タク、行こう。
Unless you are him. Then they would kill you. I'm still like very on that theory. I'm still going with it, dude. Clearly uninterested, Remy turned her gaze away from the protesters and quickly started walking toward the entrance of the CD shop. Kind of like, what do we got here? No one even gets CDs anymore. They all get their music on digital. As soon as we entered the shop, Remy headed straight toward the indie section. Unlike the J-pop section, there weren't many customers there. Remy stopped in front of shelf P, then started looking for the CD she wanted. But after a minute of browsing, her shoulders slumped.
やっぱりないな。
Oof. An indie group whose name started with P? Could that be? No, it can't
タクは
possibly.
ファンタズムってバンドを知ってる？
God damn.
今話題になってるけど。
I was gonna say that it can't possibly. No, there's no way. So it was them. How could I not know them? I'd even gone to see their concert, and I owned a CD. I nodded, and Remy smiled.
私、そういう情報は結構疎くて、最近になって知ったんだ。
I could give her my CD.
それ
How's
で
that?
友達に借りようかと思ったんだけど、なかなか手に入らないらしくて、誰も持ってないんだよ。
I do.
だから CD 買うしかないかなって思って、ここ1週間ぐらいあちこち探してみたんだけど、どこも売り切れ中。次はいつ入るんだろう。
僕
Come on, say you have it and say give it a fucking.
持ってる。
Ah, there he goes. He forced it out. Remy's eyes went wide. I'd also be like, what the fuck?
持ってるって CD？
I showed her a nod. And when I did that, Remy... Oh, God. Oh, no. You know what? I feel like we're in a more positive light nowadays. Well, I mean, I am, because we have Remy. Put her hands on my shoulders. Uh-oh. You must give me the CD. If you don't, I won't be here with you any longer. She suddenly brought her face in closer to mine, which immediately made me flustered. Help me. The sweet smell of shampoo wafting from Remy's hair tickled my nose, and I felt my face turning red.
ねえタク、取引しよう。
Deal?
その CD 貸してくれたら、見返りに私。
Mm-hmm. She looked at me, her expression dead serious. I gulped. She'll what? What was she gonna do? Please don't say the delusion's gonna kick in when she, says what she's gonna do and, oh, God damn it. That means it's gonna be something sexy. Because he's a fucking just perverted loser. Remy's cheeks flushed slightly in embarrassment. And then, having seemingly made up her mind, she whispered something to me.
私のこと好きにしていいよ。
Whatever I want, huh? Cuts to them just playing ESO together. God damn it, why do I do this? I know what's gonna happen. I know it's just because he's... When I understood the meaning behind her words, my brain stopped computing. I couldn't tell if she was joking or being serious. I tried to look away, but before I could...
しゃがんで。
What? Remy glanced at our surroundings, then pressed down on my shoulders hard. Without really knowing why, I obeyed her. I mean, it is what it is. I crouched down and leaned against the CD shelves, hugging my knees. Remy also crouched down in front of me. I was completely lost. What the hell was she planning?
膝伸ばして。
Did she want me to sit directly on the floor? This is weird. I didn't want to act like such DQN, but Remy didn't wait for my consent. She grabbed both my calves and forced my legs to straighten out. Help me. I couldn't stop myself from sliding down to the floor. Oh no, this looks very awkward. You know, that's not as bad as I mean, see, if you put a bar there, it would look way bad, but it's not, like, at all. Right as my legs hit the floor, Remy got on top of me.
し
This is weird. Remy put her index finger on my lips. She wanted me to stay quiet, evidently. But doing something like this? Inside a store? As if she read my mind, Remy started giggling.
ここインディーズのコーナーってお客さんあんまり来ないよね。
I mean, true, but it's still a very small store from the looks of it.
こうしてしゃがんだら周りから見えなくなっちゃう。
What was she implying?
ねえタク
Remy moved her face in closer. Even closer. Her breath stroked my cheeks. It was hot. I couldn't avert my gaze from Remy's shimmering eyes. I could feel myself being sucked right into them. It was like I was under some magic spell. Now, if I chose the bad option, would I have died? Perhaps. Perhaps not. Remy was staring straight at me, just as I was at her. As we stared at each other, Remy's hands began to move. Don't you move those hands. And then she started undoing my blazer. One button at a time. No, I don't want it.
何を
God damn it, dude. Paying me no mind, Remy's hand grabbed hold of my tie. Damn! With one pull, she unfastened it. And then she began unbuttoning my shirt.
ね人が来る
Is it hot in here, or is it just me? No, it's actually gonna be a lot cooler because we're gonna get our blazer off.
そうだね。人が来たらすごくまずいよね。
Despite what she just said, Remy's slender hands continued to move. They artfully slid beneath my shirt and onto my bare chest. Her cool hands slowly glided across my skin. Oh, God. Yep, that's about the reaction I expected. Look at her. She does the thing. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out. I was looking at it this whole time. What a bewitching smile. She always had a so cheerful and energetic, never once emitting, thank you, brain, any kind of sexual vibe or intention. But now, the expression on her face made my heart throb.
タクの胸
Oh no.
ドキドキしてる。
No, it's not doing any of that.
リミってテラエロス
テラエロス
What? Oh God, I said that out loud. Why do we exist? He even does. That alone went to show how shaken I really
そ
was.
れってどういう意味かな
Yeah, I'd like to.
教えてよタク。
Yeah, tell me. It means you're so unbelievably sexy. Remy's fingers suddenly crept along my skin and then they traveled down my neck. It tickled. It felt better than anything I'd ever felt before.
私のこと好きにしたくなってきた。
No, I'd rather not do it here. Following my instincts, I nodded repeatedly. Get me out of this delusion.
じゃあ
Just cut
こ
away.
こでしちゃおうか。
Cut away, please. I couldn't believe my own ears. Do it? Did she mean?
何を
I don't understand. Oh, thank God. God.
おーい
Get me out. You know, I choose this life, apparently. Actually, now that I look, no, there ain't no goddamn way in hell we would have been able to do a goddamn thing in this place. Look at it. There's not a lot of like space around. Like, I suddenly came. I didn't say that. Suddenly, I came back to myself. Remy was waving her hand in front of my face, her eyebrows furrowed in confusion. I wasn't sitting on the floor, and Remy wasn't on top of me. She was just shaking you like a baby from the shoulders. We were just standing there, menacingly, facing each other like people normally did.
どうしたの急に意識がどこかに飛んじゃってたみたいだけど。
When he has one of these delusions, and other people look at him when he's having them, does he kind of just look like he's... Like, yeah, like... you know, but how does he look exactly? Does he like have like a stupid look on his face? Is he like looking up into the sky? Like, I don't know what he's doing.
なんでもない。
落ち着け。
Don't tell her what you just did in your brain mind. I took a step back from Remy, turned my back to her, and took a deep breath. Holy shit, that'd been the hottest delusion of all time. Okay, hold up. That Senna one was really good, though. I was so fucked up, not to mention a self-loathing idiot. I couldn't believe I just thought that. Actually, no, forget that. Remy was the one who was talking about giving me something in return. That doesn't automatically mean what you think it means. You'd seen that line before in an infinite number of H scenes. True, though. Any guy who'd even dipped his toes into the genre would have imagined, had his imagination go wild over it. Anyway, what was she actually planning to do for me?
その調子だと話聞いてなかったでしょ。
Nope.
じゃあもう一回言うけど、
He was quite literally lost in the sauce.
私のお気に入り CD を貸すっていうので手を打ってくれないかな。
This doesn't help. You're not being specific.
ねえねえ、いいでしょ？お願いします。この通り。
You could just like have the CD. I don't care. Life was a cruel mistress, though I suppose it was my fault for expecting anything. Come to think of it, I wasn't supposed to be into 3D girls at all, yet I just had a delusion about doing that with Remy. Why? I mean, to be fair, she like looks like Sarah in a little bit, so it's kind of like what you know, what you're into, I suppose. When I agreed to Remy's proposal, she delightedly struck a victory pose. That sight was so amusing to me that despite the critical situation I was in, I couldn't help but laugh. Oh, thank God I'm home. I managed to make it back to base safely. Thanks to Remy, of course. One thing ended up catching me off guard, though. When we arrived, I'd ask her to wait outside while I cleaned my room, but she flat out refused. Wait, hold up. Us? Clean? The room? For Remy? Okay, he's going through a crisis. I mean, here he is, though.
だって前に来た時に汚いっていうのはよーくわかったし、今さら片付けたって無駄だよ。
True.
かっこつけなくてもいいって。私とタクの中でしょ？ね？
Yeah, but I wish I knew exactly what that meant. Remy was completely absent from my memory, meaning I didn't really know her. Every once in a while, I'd find myself taken aback at how ridiculously friendly Remy was whenever she talked to me. It wasn't unpleasant or anything, but it only made it all the more clear how different we felt about each other. Dude, I gotta get to the bottom of this. On that particular note, was Remy serious about there being no point in me cleaning my room? The floor was littered with empty boxed lunches, and the bed was piled high with eroge cases. Eroge cases with not exactly the most SFW cover art. Oh god, like the straight up just lewd one. Oh yeah, I already know. Either Remy had nerves of steel or she had no reason to feel on edge around me, but trying to figure out which it was only made me feel even more confused. Remy, unaware of how distressed I was, went to sit on the sofa, looking earnestly over the lyric booklet included in the Phantasm CD. Yeah, you have fun with that. I plopped down in my chair, and the tension flooding my body soon left after my mind was completely maxed after spending most of my day terrified. Yet I wasn't feeling that exhausted. I would be so damn tired. You kidding me? Maybe that was thanks to Remy being there.
さて、どうしよっか。
Closing the lyric booklet, Remy stretched her arms out high and a smile and sent a smile my way. What should we do? What were we supposed to do? She hadn't come out here to hang out or anything. She just wanted me to lend her a CD. Was she doing a favor by staying with me? Or, you know, me a favor? But what the hell were we supposed to actually do? Did we have to do anything? If we were in an eroge, we'd probably just jump straight into an H scene. Yeah, sure, we'd just jump straight into one. But, wait, stop. I really shouldn't be thinking about that right now. Even under the best circumstances, it was still a really tense situation. Being alone in my room with a 3D girl and all. If I were to have some unwelcome delusions, I might suddenly shoot back to reality and end up saying something weird. We always say something weird. That's just how we are. Silence. Remy was staring vacantly at the various manga scattered on the floor and the eroge piled up on the bed. Awkward. I knew that most of the awkwardness would dissipate if I just said something, but the only subjects I could think of were video games and anime. I mean, that's really all I ever think about, so fuck it, dude. And I doubted that Remy knew anything about either. You don't know that. Wouldn't it be more logical for Remy to say something? She was the one who said she'd stay with me and all. This was gonna be a bad time if she actually expected me to lead the conversation. Ain't no way. See? He can't. He literally... Oh my god. Jesus Christ, I really did suck with 3D girls. I was grateful to her for staying with me, but I couldn't handle the sheer, unrelenting silence. The fact that the room barely had any light was also an issue. It gave off the illusion that the room was dark for some lewd reason. You know, it doesn't really look like, I know it's supposed to not have a lot of light, but honestly, it looks like it does. Like, just from the background most of the time. But a lot of that is, you know, just to make everything look clearer. Unable to take it anymore, I turned to face my PC. Okay, I need to look up something. Let me just distract myself. I've been thinking about it at school, and it might end up giving me a hint as to how I'd get my hands on a dye sword. Let's see. Is it possible to translate images pictured in the mind to actual images? Oh, God. Using what Senna had told me about VR technology and people being electronic devices as a base, I began researching the subject.
何してるの?
I didn't even tell her. I just did this. Remy stood up and approached my desk. Should I explain? No. But how to go about it? It'd take forever if I told her everything.
ねえねえ、何してるか教えてよ。
Seeing no reaction from me, Remy poked me in the back with her finger. Ow. Couldn't just ignore her, right? It'd never be that easy. Okay.
君はその妄想が現実になるって信じられる?
Time for more crazy. Oh God. As I entered a few keywords into the search bar, I spoke without looking at Remy. Instead, I pretended I was talking to Seraton. Okay, that's a nice little mechanism, I guess.
妄想が現実に? 無理でしょう。もしそれができたら、人はとっくに万能になってるよ。
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Delusions created a world in which any action, no matter how unrealistic, was possible. If they were to become reality, the unreal would become real. Unreality would become reality.
それがどうしたの?
それに近いシステムがアメリカで特許あるんだ。
冗談でしょ。
I wish I was. I could feel Remy's doubtful scoff on my back. See, look at this. We're showing her the actual patent and shit. So in response, I showed her the image of the patent that Shiho had found for me.
これは?
特許の証拠写真.
Yeah.
本当に?
The Remy leaned forward and brought her face close to the monitor. She was right up next to my face, peering intently at the screen.
私英語って苦手。すごいね、タク。英語読めるなんて。
She was way too close. She was so close I could see the glittering of her eyes as they reflected the light off the monitor. I got flustered all over again.
ねえねえ、どういうことか教えてよ。
It seemed it had piqued her interest. Dude, this shit would pique anybody's interest, I feel like. I tried to avoid thinking about how close she was to me and attempted to focus on Seraton and the monitor instead.
生まれながらに盲目の人でもビデオカメラみたいな映像機器を通すことでそこに映る景色が見えるようになるんだ。これ豆知識な。
That's a pro tip.
ビデオカメラが目の代わりっていうこと？
そう。VR 技術って言うんだよ。
Pro tip.
へえ。もし本当だったらすごいな。
But it is. It's right there. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Senna told me there's already been successful tests.
でも機械を使って目が見えるようになるのと妄想が現実になるってどうつながるの？私頭悪いからよくわかんないや。
Oh, here he goes. As I explained it to Remy, I tried searching for a number of keywords that might have been related, but I couldn't find anything. Even so, I kept on trying and typed more and more keywords.
映像機器に映る景色も脳内で思い浮かべた妄想も電気信号だから。逆に考えるんだ。脳内に電気信号を送るんじゃなくて脳内から電気信号を送るって考えるんだ。
ほほう。
Yes, they come from your head. All I got were filler responses. She probably didn't understand a thing I was saying. Probably. Probably. I couldn't be bothered trying to explain everything in detail, so I just stopped trying. I had to concentrate on my research. It didn't really matter if she understood it or not. After all, it was nothing more than a hypothesis I'd come up with. Remy was still making noises and nodding to herself. I think I understand. Time to ignore her. Time. I've been doing a whole lot of searching, but I was unable to find any data to confirm my hypothesis. I tried taking a different approach, this time focusing my research on the patent itself. I went and checked a foreign website that Shio had told me about, one that listed American patents. Oh, there's a lot of weird shit in there. Just be careful. Once I was there, I began to look for patents that would fit what I had in mind. Hold up. Wait a minute. After following a few links, I finally found an image with a similar vibe to the one Shiho had sent me. At a glance, though, the patent was clearly different from the VR apparatus one. Satellite. Whoop, right to brain. Go to the tower. I should read it right away.
神経信号パルスを遠隔地からモニターし、それを映像および音声として再現する装置と方法。
There we go. See, look at that. That was exactly what I'd had in mind. I involuntarily leaped out of my chair.
これすごいぞ。
すごいの？何が何が？
Remy's just like in her own like little, you know.
簡単に言うとこれ他人の思考を盗撮する技術だ。
思考を盗撮。
To sum it up, the audio and video people were imagining in their heads could be stolen by using a certain apparatus. Moreover, it even said that nerve impulses could be monitored from satellites. That meant it was possible to spy on a subject's thoughts no matter where they were on the planet.
本当にそんなことできるの？ SF 小説とかそういう類なものなんじゃ？
And no, it's absolutely insane.
特許ってそのシステム自体が完全に仕上がってないと。
Is that true though?
絶対に取得できないんだって。
That had been made clear to me when I'd been looking up stuff about patents earlier.
だからこれもちゃんとシステムが確立されてるってことだよ。
This wasn't mere fiction. As long as you had the technological capabilities and the funds to build it, you could implement it at any time. Before, Senna had told me that. Here we go, I have a little flashy bag.
ある意図的な情報を神経パルスへコンバートすることが可能なら、人の五感すべて、さらには人の意志そのものもコントロールできるんじゃないか。
Oh, God. I couldn't find a source for that, so it remained as mere conjecture from her. However, from my own theory, there were sources. Why would something so insane not have spread throughout all Japan? This clearly deserved a Nobel Prize, if not something even bigger. I continued my research, this time looking up the mind-reading keyword. Then I found a record of a particular lawsuit from America. Oh, Jesus.
また英文だ。頭痛くなってきそうだよ。
That's what I say, man. It was a really long document, so even I had a hard time reading it. It probably would read poorly, but I decided to use a piece of English to Japanese translation. So, he just pushes into the Google Translate. The contents of what was written there could be summarized like this. Okay, let me know. Legal record, plaintiff, N.K. Rabin. Defendant, the United States Department of Defense, the CIA. Alright. God damn it. Plaintiff's allegations. I have become aware that my mind has been read via the use of a peculiar device. My monitored thoughts are then recorded and subsequently transferred to an unknown location using satellites. The U.S. Department of Defense. They're just, this fucking CIA, dude. The aforementioned satellites have taken me hostage. What? I have been the victim of constant, unending attacks, regardless of the time of day, all of which were carried out by those very satellites. 1. Tracking. 2. Mind reading / telepathic surveillance. 3. Monitoring of all bodily signals. 4. Biorhythmical attacks. 5. Oral attacks. 6. Physical debilitation. Since the latter 3rd of December 1990, I have been forcefully shown artificially created dreams during my sleep, some of which include video, audio, and even voices. From February to May 1992, I have fallen victim to several biorhythmical attacks, all of which serve to torture me via the induction of pain or psychological harassment. That's fucked up. Recognizing that these attacks were aimed specifically toward myself, beginning February of 1992, I began to record the following information in my journal. It is my journal. The date, time, and contents of any particularly agonizing psychological attack I could remember. Did you remember a lot of them? The biorhythmical attacks were aimed at every single region of my body. The pain, torture, and psychological harassments were coordinated in order to cause discomfort, fatigue, and agony to specific regions of my body, or in some cases, my entire body. The main regions affected are as follows: chest, visual system, abdomen, brain, to induce sleeping disorders, brain, to show me artificially created dreams. Oh my god.
思考監視、思考盗撮、しかも国家ぐるみ。
The CIA's like, we're not doing none of that, it's fine.
マジ？
私これ知ってる。何年か前に映画で見た。
Wait, well, hold up. That was fiction, though. Oh, it could not be. Hold up. Well, what was written on these records very much wasn't. There were two possibilities. Either the plaintiff was a total mental case like ourselves, or the entire thing was factual. It was difficult to figure out where exactly the boundary between the two was. Taking into account the patent from earlier, it could very well be truthful. It lines up too well. So Senna and ISA weren't total mental cases, particularly ISA. I like why did you show the underwear reality? Back then, Ayase had cloned herself right before my very eyes. No, you did that. That was your delusion. I hadn't witnessed the exact moment when it happened. All I knew was that when I turned around, another Ayase was there, and she'd been wearing lingerie for some reason. She had also shown me how she pulled her dai sword out of thin air. It had been neither a hallucination nor a delusion. After showing me something like that, there was no way I could still label her as a mental case. However, Ayase had also said this. Yeah, see? That strange phenomenon. Had it been my delusion coming to fruition? Yes, she said that. You literally thought of this. Admittedly, right before it happened, I had been pondering about the color of Ayase's underwear. The power. We can see. Maybe that was what Ayase had been talking about when she mentioned the power. A power that projected delusions into reality. Maybe I had that power. Nah, couldn't possibly be. Oh no, please, why, God? Okay, you know what? No, we're on to something. We gotta stay positive. I know what's gonna happen, but I just... No. I was probably just jumping to conclusions. It was a total stretch to think that a psychic ability existed just because something, a system using scientific means, was able to reproduce delusions as images. I'm trying. But what if? What if the method to obtain a dai sword was by using such a psychic ability? So, let's suppose I had that ability within me. It might have been worth a try. Oh no, is it gonna do the wibbly wobbly? Nope, it's not. We're just here. Leaving Remy to stare at my PC screen with her eyebrows furrowed. I picked up the toy dai sword sitting in the corner of my room. This useless piece of shit. I went to stand in the center of the room and brought my sword to eye level like I was an ESO character. I closed my eyes. Oh no, we just look. Why do we look? I tried to conjure the image of a sword in my mind. I naturally imagined it to be something similar to the beautiful, sinister swords that Senna and Ayase had, each complete with a sharpness that could sever anything it touched. Oh, hold up. Having delusions was my specialty. After all, I had all sorts of delusions on a daily basis. Can we make it so this shitty dai sword actually transforms into a legit dai sword with a delusion? If I wanted to, I could recreate every single detail both vividly and clearly in my head. Once the image was as precise as it was gonna get, I planted my feet, gritted my teeth, and tried grasping the sword with the power I now held in my hands. Become real. 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 It's not happening. I prayed inside my head, devoting all my thoughts toward that one single wish. What I'm holding is a real dai sword. It's not fake. It's real. Remy's like, what in God's name? I infused the strength of my entire being into the blade. Come! Reveal yourself to me! It just does the... Oh, that'd be sick. Grant me salvation! Protect me! I slowly opened my eyes. And nothing. Because the sword I was holding hadn't changed whatsoever. It was still the same cheap-ass toy. Yeah, see?
そりゃそうだよな。
Well, I mean, you tried. That's about the best I could have asked for. There was no such thing as an evil IS psychic power that turned delusions into reality. Don't say evil eye. I have PTSD with that. It was way too chuny. What was I, 5? I felt ashamed to have ever thought I held such a power. I should have done the negative delusion. Or it's not even a delusion. You know what I mean. Heaving a long sigh, I lowered the sword. But right as I did, I sensed a gaze behind me. Yeah, 'cause it's Remy. She's literally there. I can feel chills on the back of my neck. Goosebumps rose across the entirety of my body. The gaze again? That was a clear sign. A sign that right at that moment, someone was watching me. Yeah, I wonder who. Don't look at me. Oh my god, why is she not the music? I wasn't gonna turn around. Like I never turn around. She's just there. Huh? Not only had I sensed a presence, but I heard a voice as well. Though to be precise, it hadn't exactly been a voice. It had been closer to a sigh. Don't tell me. I might have just made a terrible mistake. It's like he just forgot Remy existed. I slowly turned around. Oh no. And there was Remy staring right at me. So that was it. No wonder the sense of presence had been more intense than usual. Granted, that only made sense considering I wasn't just feeling like I had been being watched. I was being watched. This was definitely gonna get confusing. Oh god. Had Remy seen me go full Chuny, brandishing a sword and all that from start to finish? I was gonna die from embarrassment. Except something was off about her. Oh. Remy's brow furrowed, and she stared at me without blinking even once. That's horrifying. Well, she blinked, she just did! However, it wasn't me she was looking at, but the object I held. The toy die sword. Oh no. Why did she look so serious? Remy? It felt like she was an entirely different person from the one I'd been getting all confused about the patents earlier. Yeah, oh no, she's not there yet. She isn't at that point. I look, it's fine. An unpleasant memory flashed through my mind. Remy was on my side. She was supposed to be. Yeah, she's on our side. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Stop it. However, I still hadn't solved the mysteries surrounding her. Did Remy know something about die swords? I like to think it's just he's just like overreacting and she's just like closely examining it just cause, just cause. With a gulp, I nervously called out to her. Oh, did you hear that? He even like did a little gulp too, like it said. Oh fuck. Her gaze still fixated on me. Remy opened her mouth. Her voice was stifled, devoid of any and all emotion. Remy was my ally, yes, please help. She wouldn't betray me like Yua did, would she? Never. She would never do that. Even Remy betrayed me, I'd... Why? Because... My voice nearly cracked. Did Remy know something after all? Because it's stupid and I hate it. Remy's gaze finally moved, but this time it landed squarely on my eyes. I hurriedly averted my own. What was she gonna say? It's gonna be something. What? Yes, I was like, it's gonna be something stupid. Remy suddenly broke into a grin, a very mischievous grin. The abrupt change in demeanor left me speechless.
そりゃ男の子っていくつになってもそういうおもちゃが大好きなんだなってのはなんとなくわかるけど、さすがにそんな大きなおもちゃ一人で部屋で振り回してるのはどうかと思うよ。
Sure they do.
それが許されるのは小学生までじゃない？ま、でもタクの個人的な趣味を私の前で披露してくれたってのはちょっと嬉しいかも。私にだけ秘密を教えてくれたみたいで。
She's got the wrong idea. What the hell, man? I'd gotten all scared for no reason.
そもそもそれどこで買ってきたの？高かったんじゃない？
A skeevy shop.
1万円。渋谷の雑貨屋で。
へえ、1万円か。安いのか高いのかわからないけど。
That's $100.
でもそんな大きなおもちゃが普通に売ってるんだね。私そんな大きなのを直接見たのって初めて。 その雑貨屋さんに売ってるっていうのは誰かに教えてもらったの？
She really wasn't gonna let it go. Was she interested in these kinds of swords or something? Maybe Remy was an actual total chuny in disguise? So the one who'd been making fun of me for having a sword actually wanted one herself? Tsundere much? LMAO.
自分で調べた。ネットで。
ネットか。
The music died.
すごいな。何でも情報が手に入るんだね。私は全然ダメ。パソコンなんてろくに使えないよ。
What?
で、その剣って流行ってるの？
なんで？
タクはどうしてそれを買おうと思ったのかなって。
She's very curious about the sword. Maybe I should just tell her the truth. If she was gonna stay by my side moving forward, maybe she'd end up helping me search for a real die sword in the future. If that was the case, it might be better to just tell her everything now and get it out of the way.
これは偽物だけど、本物があるんだ。
本物？
We're gonna sound. I mean, we've been sounding like a crazy person this whole time. Remy tilted her head, puzzled.
本物を持ってる人を僕知ってるんだ。
Don't say that.
2人いる。同じ学校の女子。
Really now? She just. Who are these two girls that you know with these swords?
女子ね。女の子がこんなおもちゃを欲しがるかな。
Oh, there ain't toys.
本当なんだ。
They ain't toys at all.
それにおもちゃじゃない。
ああ、ごめん。
本物は光るんだ。それにすごい存在感で。僕それを探してる。それさえ手に入れれば僕は救われるんだ。
救われるって。
Remy looked quite puzzled, but I was very much dead serious. Not to mention a die sword would be a powerful tool to confront Shogun. He's just a small man and old small man in a wheelchair. You like come up to him, stab him right in the fucking chest with your sword.
それで
Oh? Oh? Help? Why did my taskbar just appear? Oh no, the chaos head is affecting the computer. I wanted to say that I needed her help to find it. However, when I thought about what I could even do if she said no, I grew too scared and anxious to say anything. I dropped the fake sword on the spot and sat down on the sofa. With a sigh, I closed my eyes. Jeez. Would Remy offer me her help in order to find it? If she did, everything would turn out okay. But I know how unrealistic it was to expect her to go that far. I don't know, she's been pretty up with everything with us. Up till now, Remy has always come dashing to my rescue whenever I was in a tough spot, almost like she could read my mind. In that case, maybe
とにかく、もし本物があったとしても、それこそ買ったりしちゃダメだよ。今タクが持ってるのはおもちゃだからいいけど、本物ってことは銃刀法違反になっちゃうんだから。
She's what are you, my mom? My hopes were crushed instantly. Well, no help there. What an insane disappointment. Then again, Remy's reaction made sense from the POV of an average person. These past few weeks, I'd encountered so many inexplicable things. I was nearly at the point where I was ready to believe anything that Senna and ISA had said. Dude, I'd have been all in. Maybe ISA was right. I had to find a die sword entirely on my own.
それでタク、
I felt Remy sit down next to me.
その本物の剣を持ってる女子って誰かな？
Yeah, she's interested in thems. Her voice came from very close by. She was right next to me. It was just the two of us in an enclosed, dimly lit room, and we were sitting right next to each other. Emergency! Everyone, battle stations, emergency!
タクに女子の知り合いが私以外にいたなんてちょっとびっくり。
I mean, I didn't know anybody.
もしかして彼女？
I wish. So that was where she was going with this. Could it be that Remy was trying to seduce me? That's where you go? That's where you go. That's the only possible conversation that could result from this topic was one centered around romance. After I told her the truth, she'd given me her confession, and then the mood would start getting really hot and heavy, and then... Oh, no, is this all because I hit the positive? Oh, God, I couldn't do this. I wasn't remotely prepared for this. No, I can't. I love when he just goes in a fucking direction and you're just like, where are you going? I mean, I know where you're going, but why? Oh, you crazy, crazy man.